Evan Cole ran down the narrow corridor of the trade station, his boots clanging on the metal floor. Smoke filled the air, and sparks jumped from broken wires on the walls. The sound of explosions shook the building, and alarms blared like wild animals. He did not stop. He had to keep moving. Every second mattered. He had come to the station to repair a small engine unit. It was a simple job, but nothing about today had been simple. Raiders from an unknown alien fleet had appeared suddenly. Their ships had fired without warning, destroying docking bays and killing anyone who was in the open. People screamed and ran, but Evan focused on one thought: survive, and help anyone he could. He rounded a corner and froze for a moment. A shadow moved ahead, larger than any human. He recognized the shape immediately. It was an alien, tall and muscular, with dark blue skin that shimmered in the dim lights. Its eyes glowed faintly orange, and it carried a long blade on its back. The alien paused and turned to look at him. Its gaze was sharp, cold, and judging. Evan did not move back. He stayed where he was, hands slightly raised, showing no weapon. The alien took a step closer, and the floor shook under its weight. "Why aren't you afraid, human?" the alien asked. Her voice was strange, musical, but carried power. Evan swallowed but did not lower his gaze. "I don't have time to be afraid," he said quietly. "I need to get out, and I need to help others." The alien tilted her head. Her name was Lyra, and she belonged to a clan known for defeating worlds. She had fought many enemies and expected humans to scream and beg for mercy. She had never seen one so calm in the face of danger. "Do you not feel fear?" she asked again, stepping closer. Sparks from damaged lights reflected in her eyes. Evan shook his head slightly. "Fear won't help anyone," he said. "It only slows you down." Lyra frowned. She had seen hundreds of humans. All of them were weak, panicking, running without thinking. They screamed, they cried, and they died. This human did not even look scared. "Curious," she whispered to herself. The station shook violently. A heavy piece of machinery fell from above, blocking the corridor behind them. Evan did not flinch. He ran forward, pushing the machinery aside with surprising strength for a human. Lyra watched in silence. She had expected him to collapse, to shout, to cry. None of that happened. Evan noticed small bodies trapped under debris further down the corridor. Children, their faces pale, eyes wide with fear. He ran to them, ignoring the smoke and fire around him. Lyra followed silently. She did not understand why she felt compelled to follow him, why her instincts told her to protect the human instead of fight him. He lifted the debris carefully, speaking softly to the children. "It's okay. You'll be fine. I've got you." He helped them to their feet. Their small hands clung to his arms. Even in this chaos, Evan's voice was calm. It had an effect. The children stopped crying. They listened. They trusted him. Lyra's chest tightened. She had never seen anyone inspire trust like that. Her clan fought with strength and fear, never with words or calmness. This human did not fight like them, yet he saved lives with simple actions and gentle words. Suddenly, a group of raiders appeared at the other end of the corridor. Their ships had boarded, and now they hunted the survivors inside the station. They were tall, armored, and fast, with glowing weapons that fired in bursts of blue light. The humans panicked, running in every direction. Some screamed, some tripped, some froze. Evan took a deep breath. He grabbed a metal rod from the floor and held it like a staff. He stepped in front of the children, placing himself between them and the raiders. Lyra raised an eyebrow. She expected him to be terrified. Instead, he looked ready, focused. The raiders advanced, firing bursts of energy. Evan dodged the first shot, then the second. He swung the metal rod to block another. sparks flying as it connected with their weapons. He moved fast, but he did not panic. Every motion was precise, every step calculated. Lyra could not look away. She had fought humans before. They were weak, untrained, fragile. This one was different. He did not have claws, teeth, or heavy armor. He had only his mind, his courage, and his determination. And yet, he moved like a force of nature, protecting those who could not protect themselves. A raider lunged at him with a blade. Evan ducked and rolled to the side, then grabbed a piece of broken railing and swung it with all his strength. The raider stumbled back, shocked. Lyra felt a strange stirring in her chest. She had fought many warriors who relied on strength alone. This human relied on something else. "Human," she said softly, almost to herself. "Why do you not fear death?" Evan glanced at her briefly, then back at the children. "Because fear never helped me," he said. "But doing what is right does." Lyra froze. Her mind could not process it. No human had ever spoken like that to her before. They were weak, fearful, quick to die. Yet this one, he was different. There was fire in him that no weapon could touch. The corridor shook again. Explosions from the docking bay rocked the station. The floor trembled, and dust rained from the ceiling. Evan grabbed the children and pulled them toward a side exit. "This way," he shouted. His voice carried authority, calmness, and strength all at once. The children ran behind him, without hesitation. Lyra followed silently. She wanted to test him, to see if he would finally show fear. But he did not. He ran straight into danger, protecting the weak, ignoring the explosions, ignoring the odds. A massive piece of the ceiling fell just ahead of them. Evan ran forward, calculated the fall, and dove, pulling the children with him. They landed in a cloud of dust and debris. One child cried softly, but Evan soothed her. "You're safe now. I won't let anything happen to you." Lyra's heart beat faster. She had never met anyone like him. She had never seen courage that did not come from training or aggression. This human had something else. Something that made her feel strange. Suddenly, another group of raiders appeared from a side door, blocking their path. Evan looked at them, then at the children. He did not hesitate. He grabbed a small control panel on the wall and pressed a sequence. A section of the floor opened, revealing a hidden maintenance shaft. "This way," he shouted. He led the children into the narrow tunnel. Lyra followed, noticing that the human moved quickly, calmly, and without fear. The raiders shouted, firing weapons, but Evan kept moving. He guided the children with gentle but firm hands. One child stumbled, and he caught her. Another fell behind, and he ran back to lift him up. Lyra had never seen such dedication. Finally, they reached a larger chamber that led to the main escape bay. Evan helped the children climb a ladder to the upper platform. He turned back to make sure no one was left behind. Lyra stood behind him, still silent, still watching. The explosions from the main station continued. Metal groaned, and alarms screamed. The situation was desperate. Yet Evan did not panic. He calculated every step, every movement, every decision with clear mind. Lyra could not contain herself any longer. "Human," she said, louder this time. "Why aren't you afraid?" Evan looked at her, sweat on his brow, dust on his clothes, but calm in his eyes. "Fear does not help," he said simply. "It slows you down. It makes you hesitate. I cannot afford to hesitate. I must act. That is all." Lyra stared at him. His words were simple, but they carried weight she could not ignore. She had fought many battles, won many wars, but never had she met someone like him. Someone who faced death not with anger, or training, or weapons, but with courage and purpose. For the first time, Lyra felt unsure of herself. Her clan had always taught that humans were weak, fragile, and easy to scare. Yet this one human had moved through death and fire without faltering. He had saved children, he had faced raiders, he had remained calm under pressure. She realized something that made her chest tighten. She had never seen such strength. She had never seen a human like this. The sound of an approaching raider ship made her turn. Evan already had the children safely moving toward the escape bay. He looked back at her and nodded, silently telling her to follow. She did. As they moved together, Lyra could not stop thinking about him, about how he faced danger, how he stayed calm, how he protected the weak. She did not understand it, but she wanted to know more. Evan led the children into the main escape bay. The raiders were close, their weapons flashing in the dim light. He guided the children onto one of the few remaining shuttles. He helped them strap in, making sure each was safe. Finally, he turned to Lyra. She had been silent all this time, watching him, learning from him, trying to understand. "You're coming?" he asked quietly. Lyra hesitated. Then, against everything her clan had taught her, against all her instincts, she nodded. She followed him. Together, they prepared the shuttle for launch. The alarms screamed, the station shook violently, and fire raged around them. But Evan remained calm, steady, unshaken. Lyra looked at him, her heart beating fast. She could not explain why, but something about this human, this weak but fearless creature, made her feel alive in a way she had never known. And in that moment, she knew that she had never met anyone like him, and perhaps she never would again. The shuttle rocked as it rose from the burning station. Fire and smoke filled the view screen, and the alarms inside the small craft blared. Evan Cole sat at the controls, his hands steady on the levers, his eyes scanning every warning light. The children sat quietly behind him, still wide-eyed but safe for the first time in hours. Lyra, standing near the rear, watched him closely. She still could not understand how he remained calm while the station exploded below them. "Evan," she said finally, her voice low, "how do you do it? How can you stay so calm when everything is falling apart?" Evan did not look away from the controls. "I focus on what I can do," he said. "I can help these kids. I can get us out. I cannot stop to be afraid." Lyra frowned. Her people always fought with strength and speed, relying on training and instinct. Fear was part of survival. Humans usually panicked, screamed, or froze. But this one human, he seemed different. His calmness was almost frightening, in a way she did not understand. The shuttle shook again as debris from the station slammed against it. Sparks flew from the dashboard, and a loud clang echoed through the small cabin. Evan adjusted the controls and leaned forward slightly, ignoring the pain in his shoulder from a falling beam earlier. The shuttle responded perfectly to his touch. Lyra could not help but stare. His hands moved with precision, as if the machine were an extension of his body, not just a tool. "You are not afraid of dying?" she asked. Evan finally turned to look at her. His face was streaked with dirt and sweat, but his eyes were clear. "Of course I am," he admitted quietly. "But being afraid does not help. It only makes mistakes more likely. I will not let fear control me. Just a country. I will not let fear control me." Lyra was silent. She had fought countless enemies who had died because they panicked. They had power, weapons, training, but fear had destroyed them. Yet this human seemed to use his fear, control it, turn it into something useful, something powerful. The shuttle broke through the station's outer debris field. Outside, the stars looked calm, but inside the shuttle, tension hung thick. Evan guided the craft toward a small planet nearby. one that had a partially functional spaceport. It was risky. The raiders could still be following them. But he calculated the odds carefully and pushed the shuttle forward. Lyra could not help herself. She stepped closer. Human. Why do you risk yourself for others? For these children? Your species? Most humans would run, leave them, save themselves first. Evan glanced at her and smiled faintly. I cannot just run. I have seen what happens when people only think of themselves. I will not be one of them. If I can help, I will. Lyra's chest tightened. Her own people had taught her that survival was personal. Protecting others was optional. A weakness. Yet here was a human, risking everything for children he barely knew. Her instincts told her to judge him, to see him as weak. But her heart disagreed. The shuttle shuddered violently. A small raider craft shot out from the shadow of the debris, firing its weapons at them. Evan reacted immediately, pulling the shuttle into a tight spiral to avoid the blasts. Lyra watched in amazement. He did not panic, did not shout, did not curse. He simply acted, calculating each movement with perfect timing. The raider fired again. Evan adjusted the shields and returned fire with the shuttle's small defensive lasers. One shot hit the raider's engine, causing it to spin out of control. Lyra could not believe it. A human had defeated one of her kind in a space battle, using only skill, quick thinking, and nerves of steel. The children in the back shivered, scared by the explosions, but Evan spoke to them gently. It's okay. We're safe. Just hold on, and we'll get out of this. His calm voice reassured them, more than any shields or weapons ever could. After several tense minutes, the raider ship retreated. Evan guided the shuttle toward the planet's atmosphere, moving through pockets of debris with care. The planet's surface came into view: rocky plains, a few small settlements, and a barely functioning spaceport. It was not much, but it was enough. Human, Lyra said again, breaking the silence. Do you ever feel fear inside, deep down? Evan thought for a moment, his hands still on the controls. Yes, he admitted. I feel fear. But I do not let it stop me. I turn it into action. Fear only helps if you use it to focus, to survive, to protect others. Lyra did not reply. Her mind struggled to understand. Her clan taught that fear was weakness. Only the strong survived. But this human, he was weak in size, weak in muscle, yet strong in a way she could not name. Stronger, perhaps, than many of her own warriors. The shuttle descended toward the planet. Evan carefully navigated through the atmosphere, avoiding rocky outcrops and small storms. Lyra helped where she could, offering advice on maneuvers and warning about unstable air pockets. She was surprised at how easily she worked alongside him, following his calm lead. Finally, the shuttle landed roughly on the small spaceport. The children cheered quietly, relieved to be on solid ground. Evan opened the door and helped them out, checking that each was safe. Lyra stepped down beside him, looking at the young human. You are not like any human I have met, she said quietly. You face danger, and yet you are calm. You protect others, and yet you do not seek glory. Why? Evan smiled faintly. Because I have no choice, he said simply. If I do not act, others may die. I cannot live with that. It is as simple as that. Lyra studied him carefully. She realized that his strength did not come from muscles or weapons. It came from his heart, his courage, his will to protect those who could not protect themselves. And for the first time, she felt respect, real respect for a human. The children ran ahead to a nearby building where volunteers were gathering food and water. Evan followed slowly, rubbing his shoulder where a piece of falling debris had hit him. Lyra kept close, silent, observing. You are strange, human, she said finally, unable to stop herself. Most humans would scream. Most humans would hide. Most humans would die in situations like today. But you do not fear. Evan shrugged. I am not brave. I am not special. I just do what must be done. Fear only slows you down. It never helps. Lyra nodded slowly. She had heard similar words in her clan, from her elders, from warriors older and stronger than her, but never with the same calmness, never with the same quiet confidence. This human, he was teaching her something she had never expected to learn. As night fell on the small planet, Evan helped the children settle into a safe building. He checked each one, making sure they had blankets, water, and food. Lyra watched him move among them, patient, gentle, careful. She had seen him fight. She had seen him face death. And now, she saw him care. She could not understand why it made her chest ache. Why did she feel drawn to him? Her clan taught her to avoid humans, to see them as weak, unimportant. But here she was, following one, learning from one, watching him save lives with nothing but his courage and heart. Finally, she spoke again, softer this time. Evan, do you ever worry about yourself? About what might happen? He looked at her, tired but still calm. But worrying does not solve anything. Action does. Doing what is right. Protecting those who cannot protect themselves. Surviving. That is what matters. Lyra stayed silent. She had no answer. His words made her question everything she had been taught. Everything her clan believed about humans. About strength. About courage. They sat together outside the building for a while, watching the stars. The children slept safely inside, and the planet was quiet. Evan rubbed his shoulder, tired but alert. Lyra studied him, feeling an unfamiliar warmth in her chest. Why aren't you afraid, human? She asked again, softly, almost to herself. Evan looked at her, and for a moment, he smiled. Because fear never helped me before. But hope always has. Lyra's eyes widened slightly. She had never heard a human speak like that. She had never met anyone who could face death, chaos, and fire, and still speak with such calm, such certainty. Something inside her shifted. Something inside her admired him, respected him, and, perhaps, even feared what she might feel for him. The night grew darker, but neither of them moved. They sat in silence, watching the stars, thinking about what had happened, and what might come next. Lyra could not stop thinking about the human beside her, and Evan, unaware of the effect he had, simply prepared himself for the next challenge, knowing that fear would not help him. Only courage, only action, only hope. The small planet was quiet in the early morning, but the calm did not last long. Evan Cole had been checking the children, making sure they had food and water, when a sharp alarm went off from the spaceport's control tower. Lyra, standing nearby, tensed immediately. Her instincts screamed that danger was coming. She had been trained to sense attacks, and she was never wrong. Something is coming, she said, her voice low but urgent. Prepare yourself, human. Evan nodded without fear. Show me, he said calmly. He followed her to the control tower, where the view screen showed several dark ships approaching from space. Raiders. Not just a few this time, but a fleet. They had tracked them to the planet. The humans inside the small settlement panicked. Workers ran for cover, families grabbed children, and some tried to flee in small shuttles. Evan did not panic. He scanned the ships, counting numbers, speed, and likely attack paths. Lyra watched him closely, amazed again at his calm focus. She had never seen anyone face overwhelming odds and stay so steady. These ships, Evan said quietly, they are fast but lightly armored. We can hold them off long enough to escape. I need to create a diversion. Lyra frowned. You would risk yourself? Again? He looked at her without hesitation. Yes. I cannot let them hurt the children. If I can delay the fleet, they might escape safely. She stared at him, not believing her ears. Her clan had always acted first, fought hard, and only considered themselves. This human thought of others first. His courage was frightening in its simplicity. Evan ran to a small shuttle, preparing it for launch. Lyra followed, deciding she would stay by his side. She had seen enough to know this human was extraordinary. The fleet's ships opened fire as they entered the planet's upper atmosphere. Bright beams of energy cut through the sky, striking the surface near the spaceport. Smoke rose, and debris rained down. But Evan stayed calm. He piloted the shuttle through the chaos, his movements precise and deliberate. Lyra held on tightly, scanning the sky for threats. Evan guided the shuttle toward the largest raider ship. We need to draw them away from the settlement, he explained. If we can damage one ship, the others will hesitate. Lyra's eyes widened. You are going straight into the fight? She asked. Evan nodded. I have no choice. If I wait, the children may not survive. The shuttle accelerated, weaving through enemy fire. Lyra had never seen such skill in a human before. He dodged blasts with perfect timing, used the environment to shield himself, and always kept his goal in mind. She realized that his courage did not come from ignorance. It came from understanding danger and acting anyway. They reached the largest raider ship. Evan opened the shuttle's small weapons system and fired. The first shot hit the hull, causing a small explosion. Sparks and debris flew from the enemy ship. Lyra gasped. She had never seen a human do so much with so little. The raider retaliated, sending a wave of fire toward the shuttle. Evan maneuvered quickly, avoiding damage while keeping the ship steady. Lyra watched, amazed. He was small, fragile, and human, yet he moved like a predator, fearless and precise. Human, she said, her voice shaking slightly. You are reckless. He glanced at her briefly. No. I am careful. Every movement matters. Every second counts. The battle continued, and the raider fleet spread out, following the shuttle. Evan led them away from the settlement, toward the planet's rugged mountains. Lyra helped where she could, warning him of sudden cliffs and storms. She was impressed by how he listened, adapting his plan with each new danger. Suddenly, a smaller raider ship appeared ahead, blocking their path. Evan acted immediately, diving toward a narrow canyon. The ship fired, but he dodged with skill, guiding the shuttle through a tight space. Lyra held her breath, unsure if they would make it. But they did. The canyon walls scraped the shuttle, leaving marks, but they emerged safely on the other side. You are fearless, Lyra said finally, unable to hide her admiration. Or perhaps, foolish. Evan smiled faintly. Maybe both, he said, but fear does not help anyone. The raiders regrouped and pursued them into the mountains. Evan knew he could not fight them all alone. He needed a plan. He looked at the terrain and noticed a series of narrow passes. If he could lure the fleet into them, the enemy ships would be forced to slow down, and he could attack one at a time. Follow me, he said to Lyra. Lyra followed, impressed by his courage and intelligence. He had a plan, and he trusted her to help execute it. She realized that she trusted him in ways she had never trusted anyone. They reached the narrow passes. Evan guided the shuttle carefully, placing it in the middle of the enemy fleet. The raiders fired, but the terrain slowed them down. He used the shuttle's weapons to strike one ship at a time, targeting engines and weak spots. The raiders struggled to keep up, giving him the advantage. Lyra fought alongside him. She had her own weapons, and she used them to disable enemy ships. But she noticed something strange. She did not feel like she was helping him. She felt like she was following him. His calm, confident decisions guided her actions, and she began to see humans in a new light. They were not weak. They could be clever, brave, and powerful in ways her clan had never imagined. After a long fight, the raider fleet was scattered. Several ships were destroyed, others damaged and retreating. The path to safety opened. Evan guided the shuttle back toward the settlement, ensuring the children and civilians were unharmed. Lyra stayed close, her heart still racing from the battle, but filled with admiration. Finally, the shuttle landed safely near the settlement. Evan helped the children out first, checking each one carefully. Lyra followed, still watching him. He was dirty, bruised, and tired, but his calmness never left him. Even after a life-threatening battle, he did not panic or complain. "You saved them," she said quietly. "You risked yourself to protect everyone." Evan smiled faintly. "Someone has to," he said simply. "Fear never helped me, and it won't help them. Only action can." Lyra looked at him, trying to understand. Her clan had taught her that strength came from fighting, from killing, from domination. But this human strength was different. It came from courage, from caring, from thinking clearly in chaos. She could not ignore it. The children hugged Evan, thanking him. He smiled, brushing dust from his shoulder. Lyra watched silently, feeling something stir in her chest. She could not name it, but it was stronger than respect, something warmer. The settlement leaders came out, grateful and surprised to see the children safe. They asked questions, praised Evan, and welcomed him as a hero. Lyra remained silent, unsure what to say. She had seen human courage before, but never like this. This one human had changed her view completely. As night fell, Evan helped the children settle once more. Lyra stayed by his side, watching him carefully. "Human," she said finally, her voice soft. "You are unlike anyone I have ever met. You face death calmly. You protect others, and you inspire trust. How is this possible?" Evan looked at her, tired but steady. "I do not know," he said honestly. "I just do what I must. I focus on what I can do. I do not let fear control me. That is all." Lyra nodded slowly. She could not stop thinking about him. Her clan had trained her to be strong, ruthless, and fearless. But she had never met someone like him. Someone who was small, fragile, and human, yet stronger than many warriors she had known. They sat outside together, watching the stars. The children slept safely inside, and the settlement was calm again. Lyra studied Evan, noticing the steady calm in his eyes, the quiet determination in his posture, and the courage that had carried them through impossible odds. "Human," she said softly, almost to herself. "You are remarkable. I do not understand you, but I respect you, perhaps more than I should." Evan looked at her and smiled faintly. "I only do what I can," he said. "Fear does not help. Hope does. Courage does. That is all." Lyra nodded, feeling something shift inside her. She had seen humans as weak, fragile, and unworthy. But this human, Evan Cole, had shown her a new truth. Humans were capable of courage, intelligence, and strength beyond what her clan had ever imagined. And for the first time, she wondered if humans could truly be more than she had been taught.